to be able to, as we would say, validate the prediction here by being here, and within an hour, it's going to be pitch black here, right? Isn't that amazing?
That's what's so cool. We were speaking earlier with Bill Murtaugh. He's with the Space Weather Prediction Center, which when we talk about forecasting the weather, we think it's tough, but that's even tougher.
Oh, yeah.
The sun right now, a bit more active. We've got that solar maximum that we're approaching, and all these little tidbits, these facts that like kids behind us can learn. I think, though, about if that eclipse bug does bite you, and having the opportunity to travel is so great. But how many millions of people across the country, it's one of those opportunities that unless it falls over your city, you might not be able to see one. And to see this thing go from the Mexican border all the way to the Canadian border and big cities like Dallas, I mean, I don't think the next one's gonna happen in North Texas until 23-17.
Long time, yeah.
So, I mean, these kids, notably, and the tens of thousands of people in the stands right now here in the Cotton Bowl. It might look smaller, but that's because 91,000 people can sit here in the Cotton Bowl. We've got quite a crowd.
We do.
I mean, what is
and an energetic crowd. These kids are just really juiced.
I mean, astronomers might be born today out of an event like this. This is a big deal.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And I'm glad you put it in the context of the space weather that Bill was talking about, because one of the cool things about what we're seeing here today is it also demonstrates that the sun isn't just this sort of plain blob in the sky. It's got a lot of things going on, and the ability to understand that and also understand what it means for our communications, your GPS in your phone, all of these things. And so these kids, not just the kids, but the adults as well, are gaining a new appreciation for the application of science to their everyday lives.
So true. A peek behind the curtain, because there was a lot of coverage along the path of this here in the United States. We look at the 20 and 30-year climate records. Texas is supposed to be sunny on April the 8th. I know that those chances were a little higher. We knew that this risk was going to. Was that a concern as you guys were figuring out?
Oh, yeah.
Where can we be?
Yeah, absolutely. And we looked at the forecasts and we reran them. And in fact, I had conversations with our head of the weather service about this. And actually, this forecast is spot on. We knew it was going to be overcast. We're seeing a little bit of breakup here now, but as we get closer to the event, the forecasts obviously get better and better, as you well know. But yeah, we looked at it carefully. I think through the country, we've seen the forecasts are validating really well.
And Dr. Spinrad, as we're looking, we have our program and our return right there. I'm not sure if you can see. Mazatlan, Mexico.
There you go.
We are nearing totality there in Mazatlan. Have you experienced previous eclipses yourself?
I have.
I mean, this one's so unique because in 2017, we had it last at maximum about 2 minutes and 40 seconds. I believe that was in Carbondale, Illinois, which ironically is the crossroads of these two eclipses.
Yeah, that is ironic. Yeah.
2024. This one's a bit longer, though. We're going to have more than 4 minutes.
Yeah, I was in Oregon, as I said, looking at the eclipse in 2017. And yeah, we had about 2 minutes of totality there. It was mind-blowing. I actually had a little puppy at the time, and everybody told me that she'd fall asleep. She didn't, so there's that theory. So we still have some research to do on canine responses to eclipses, I think.
Maybe they just needed a bit of a nap. That's what happens.
Right.
But no clouds in Bend, Oregon. Were there any clouds when
there weren't? What was going on in 2017 was we were having smoke from the fires in Oregon. But even that, we had to get a forecast, and once we got the forecast of where the smoke was going, we knew if we drove about 20 miles to the northeast, we'd have a better viewing of the eclipse. So a lot of people think it's just about the clouds and the high cover. It's everything. It's smoke. It's all the conditions that you're going to face during a day like this.
And as far as that messaging is concerned, with NASA, heliophysics specifically, this is the big year. There's a lot of attention that's being drawn toward the sun, and this is such a pivotal opportunity. You guys ready to capture that audience, that growing interest? I'm just looking here in Dallas, and this is just a sliver of the pie. I mean, there's going to be some big interest. Just to have it, even within the past 6 months. In October, we had that Ring of Fire eclipse. And these past two eclipse seasons, we've been able to see both solar eclipses on U.S. soil. Are we ready to just watch STEM explode?
I think so, and it's not just the eclipses too. You know, just a few weeks ago we had a geomagnetic storm, basically a coronal mass ejection, one of these storms on the surface of the sun that affects our internet, affects the satellites in space, and kids see that. Kids love satellites, so I think they're realizing it's not just about being here in the Cotton Bowl to see this totality, it's actually affecting our lives much more frequently than that.
That's so true. And Dr. Spinrad, we're right now in Mazatlan. We're listening to the cheers. You see it?
Yes.
Totality has begun in Mazatlan, Mexico. This is going to happen for more than 4 minutes there. It's amazing. You change the filter just a bit, and maybe you'll be able to see it. Talk about the significance of totality when I was talking to Bill Murdaugh with the Space Weather Prediction Center, he talked about there's a diamond ring.
Yeah, there you go.
See that occurring?
That's terrific. Yeah.
Oh my, it's beautiful.
So the cool thing for us at NOAA, with our partners at NASA, is we can actually replicate these eclipses regularly because we've got satellites positioned way out in space that can align to see the eclipses, or we can actually put filters in front to observe the sun on a regular basis, because that's how we know what's happening with these big storms on the surface.
That is incredible. And it's so nice when we just have that natural occurrence, which is occurring right now in Mazatlan, Mexico, where the coronagraph is our own sun.
And you can actually see it starting to peel off on the left side there now, too. You get a little bit of brightening on the left.
It happens so quickly. And this is the first place in the planet where we are seeing it on North America, Mazatlan, Mexico, under Totality, in Totality right now. It's called the umbra, right? We're underneath the moon shadow, the umbra. That total darkness is occurring. We're hopeful that as this moves pretty quickly, depending on where you're at, I mean, the moon shadow moves faster.
It does. Well, you can actually see it's starting to get a little bit sundownish here right now. It's a little dusky here in the stadium. And I think people are starting to see, if you put your glasses on, you can see the sun is about half occluded now. So it's going to come up, and then you're going to see the whole place just go nuts here. When we have the same thing they're seeing in Mazatlan.
They're having it in Mazatlan, and then eventually it's going to cross the Mexican border. Eagle Pass, Texas, going to be the first city in America that gets in on Totality, and Texas will be the first state. Dr. Spinrad, before we let you go, any final thoughts? I mean, this is great.
Just, enjoy it, learn from it, and keep getting those kids excited about it.
NOAA's administrator joining us here on Fox Weather. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. We got to keep those full screens up because this is just the sight to behold. I mean, even the corona, being able to have those images and see it, that light. What an opportunity, Dr. Spinrad. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right. And he had mentioned that the light changing even here in Dallas. This is going to continue to occur. I mean, all throughout the U.S., we're going to experience, at the very least, a partial solar eclipse. From Seattle, Washington, down to San Diego, east into Miami, and then north up into Maine. And Maine is even going to get in on that path of totality. But the view that we have in Mazatlan, Mexico, we have totality, and that is occurring for a few more minutes here. I want to bring in Kendall Smith in Indianapolis. Kendall, are you taking in the sights? Before you know it, you're going to be able to see this for yourself. It's incredible. This will be your first one, right?
Yes, this will be my first viewing of a total solar eclipse, Stephen. I cannot wait. Back in 2017, I had the opportunity to experience a partial eclipse in Northwest Arkansas. And so I know, especially talking to you, Stephen, you explained just how night and day different the two experiences are between getting to witness a partial eclipse as opposed to a full total solar eclipse. I cannot wait. I have chills just looking at that shot. Mazatlan, Mexico, having that stunning view of totality. I'm so excited. Here in Indy, we are in the low 70s, and our partial eclipse has just begun. So we are looking at about, let's see, it's 56 minutes away before we have our official totality, max totality. And again, a lot of folks behind me, they have their special eclipse glasses on, rightfully so. It's unsafe to look up at the sun without protective eyewear during this time. Most locations, the partial eclipse lasts for anywhere between 70 to 80 minutes. And so this is the time when you need to be watching out, keeping a close watchful eye for things like Bailey's beads. That was coined by astronomer Francis Bailey back in 1836 as he explained the phenomenon, as well as shadow bands, the diamond ring effect. So many folks that I have talked to so far today have been just so excited to see the diamond ring. I myself is as well. And just looking at all the people behind me, Indianapolis was selected as one of 4 official broadcast sites for NASA. And it has been just such a cool experience to really see the coverage from NASA throughout today. Behind me on Pagoda Plaza, we are getting a look at the NASA telescopes from the partial eclipse here in Indy, kind of looking like a thumbnail. That's what it looks like right now. And you can hear the cheers in Mazatlan, Mexico. Now we're experiencing third contact, the end of totality. Now we have that partial beginning. I mean, there's that diamond ring effect like we were just mentioning. So exciting to see. Stephen, I'm so interested to know your thoughts on this and just kind of what goes through your mind during those moments. I mean, it's a short period of time here in Indy. We're expecting about 3 minutes and 51 seconds of totality. You will experience it first, but what are you most looking forward to? Because you have had a chance to experience a total solar eclipse before.
I was able to, and the moments that I remember, there's just a couple of them. I mean, we do feel a bit of a temperature drop, and that's under sunny skies. It also, back in 2017, occurred in the month of August, where in August the temperatures are much warmer, and the same can be said in Mazatlan, although, you know, it's farther south, a little closer to the equator, but we're already beginning to, as totality has completed, we're seeing now the eastern, the right side of the solar disk reemerge, and now the phase, this is technically third contact, as the moon is now moving past, and we will begin the phase what's known as the returning sun in Mazatlan. You consider the moon and how it's orbiting around the Earth, and its proximity, its distance from us, and the fact that that's a perfect alignment in our skies. We have a new moon today. We're now on our way to the full moon. The full moon will rise in our skies as the sun sets. Well, today with the new moon, it rises and sets with the sun. That's why solar eclipses can only occur during the new moon. But rarely are they ever aligned. Yeah, so you look at just solar eclipses, not total, but solar eclipses, those occur a couple of times, 2 to 5 times a year, in fact. But the total solar eclipse, we only see, and we're only greeted with that opportunity every 18 months. And good luck finding one in your own backyard. On average, you only get about one every 300, 350 years. And in Mazatlan, as quickly as totality started, we are now beginning to see that returning sun as the moon is moving over the disk of the sun, and the shadow is on its way, the umbra, the total shadow, on its way to the U.S., moving over Mexico right now. We have the Sierra Madres, the mountains, going to eclipse a portion of that range, an extension of the Rockies from the western U.S. As these shadow and as this light continues to lessen here in Dallas, in Indy, in Cleveland, all into the Northeast and New England, we're all going to be treated to it. It continues to be a question. Are we going to have the clouds during totality in Dallas, Texas? You probably can hear a lot of commotion behind me. That's Ready, Jet, Go. It's a kids animated sci-fi series launched on PBS, and it's been running, and it really highlights the importance of learning and knowing space, and these kids geared up. They are amped for what's to occur. As we're still looking in Mexico elsewhere, watching as that path of totality is getting fulfilled with the moon eclipsing the sun. You know, Kendall, total solar eclipses, they occur somewhere on the planet at sunrise, and they end somewhere on the planet at sunset. This path is 9,000 miles long. 2,000 of those miles are right here in the United States. That's a good chunk, especially when you consider most of the planet is covered in water, and it began over the Pacific Ocean.
Right.
But now it's racing to North America. Mazatlan already experiencing totality, and the next stop in Mexico looks like we're nearing totality there.
And Stephen, as you mentioned, the speed, the moon moving 2,000 miles per hour as it continues to crank further to the north and east across the path of totality. So right now, slower speeds, but we will start to see that increase. The thing that's so interesting about this is, like you were just mentioning, again, just looking at that shot, what you experienced during the moments of totality, the drop in temperatures. Right now in Indianapolis, we are in the low 70s, 73 degrees. I'm very curious to know what that's like, what that feels like when the temperatures drop, when the sky goes from day to dusk. I have a little bit of the shaking right there from that shot, but we are now just about 50 minutes or so away, and we've got, again, a lot of folks out here that are taking this in with us, and it has been 819 years in Indianapolis since we have had our last visible total solar eclipse, and the next one, at least for the Circle City, won't occur for another 129 years, and that's going to occur in 2153. So I want to send things out now to Robert. Robert Ray is here on the grounds with me at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And Robert, I can see the shot behind me from NASA's telescope. I'm assuming this is pretty much the exact same shot that you have as well. The partial eclipse. just an incredible sight to see right now. Almost takes my breath away, so I cannot wait to see what full totality looks like here soon.
Yeah, Kendall, partial eclipse has begun here in Indianapolis. NASA's got a shot up, and so do we. I hope we're looking at our shot from the camera that my eye is in. And these folks go to Purdue University. They are originally from Korea. Take a look in, and then I want to get your reaction to the partial eclipse as you're looking at it. The 306 is the total eclipse, solar eclipse, and these folks are taking a look. What's your take on what you're seeing right now?
So it's partially like covered right now, and I see it's like closely getting like the shade is getting like bigger right now.
Are you surprised at what you're seeing inside there? Because you don't have a big lens and you got your eye in there. What does it look like to you?
Well, it is just clear like a circle, and yeah, it's pretty amazing that like I cannot see the sun like with my naked eyes, but it's this is so cool.
It is cool, isn't it? How about you? Take a look in. Let me know what your thoughts are.
Oh, it's amazing.
I mean, can you imagine what this is going to be like in an hour or so, right? So have you ever experienced an eclipse before?
No, not at all.
Okay, but you study at Purdue, then you came down to Indianapolis for this.
Yep.
Pretty big trip. I mean, your thoughts about the darkness that's coming? Are you expecting anything that may be a surprise?
Well, I actually didn't know about this gonna happen at all, like till like last week. But then like I heard it, and yeah, that's so amazing. Well, nothing else I can actually talk about. Like it's so like pretty amazing.
Takes the words out of your mouth, pretty much. Yeah.
All right. Let me think about that.
Well, thanks, guys. I appreciate it. I'm glad you got to see that. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Have fun out there. Appreciate it. Yeah, Kendall, we're looking right at this partial eclipse. We've already had the full solar eclipse down in Mexico as it moves into the United States. We are moments away, less than an hour here, and readying for this as teams are spread out across, up and down the path of totality. Guys?
And here in Indy, Robert, again, I'm on the Pagoda Plaza. I will just about to head into really kind of where the majority of all the spectators are for this event. So here's that shot. I mean, just remarkable to see the juxtaposition between Mexico, where we are experiencing full totality. Just notice the corona, the sun's corona, and how vibrant and how really, to me, beautiful. That's the best way I can describe this as. That glow, incredible shot right there. And the fact that nearly 32 million people are going to be experiencing a visual just like this today is so exciting, so awe-inspiring. I'm incredibly excited. I'm going to be talking to people here soon as this event kind of unfolds. A lot at stake here, and again, want to send things back down to Stephen Morgan because, again, we were talking about cloud cover. I'm curious to know, what does it look like right now in Dallas?
Kendall, I was just looking at this shot out of Mexico, and as we're getting the returning sun, we saw a little bit of activity on the sun's surface. We saw some of that action around the corona. It is an active sun as we speak. What a sight to behold, these solar flares that occur, these eruptions that we have on the surface of the sun. It's going to be tough to see now because we're getting so much of the sun back, but you got to look for some of those almost flashes of light, these twists that occur in the corona just off the surface of the sun. I think we just saw one of those there in Mexico with this incredible view of it. The returning sun's now begun. The moon continues to eclipse more and more of, well, the sun. The sun's been tough to come by here in Dallas, giving that perspective. There's the diamond ring. You guys see that? What a sweet shot. And now we're going to have now the light return and things get brighter and brighter in Mexico. This is moving closer and closer to the U.S.-Mexico border. Eagle Pass going to be the first city up that's going to experience totality here within just a few minutes. And this image that we get really paints the picture of the perfect alignment and how we're able to see and capture this. What we're looking at here in Dallas are some clouds. The sun back and forth has been emerging. When we've seen the sun appear, it's not as bright as you would expect. It's not as bright as it was, say, an hour ago or so. But the clouds have been this thing we knew we'd be continuing with in Texas and perhaps we'll have a few to stick around, but that drama beginning to build. Right now, Central Time, it's 2 minutes after 1:20, 1:22, and we are less than 20 minutes away from Totality here in Dallas. The Totality already beginning and reaching that maximum in Mazatlan, moving north in the country of Mexico, moving over the Sierra Madres, eventually going to move in the Lone Star State. That path to Totality reaching the United States shortly. With the weather permitting, we might be able to get in on a few of those phenomenons that occur. A reminder about the temperature drop that we might see. Also, if we're lacking clouds, we'll certainly notice the darkness. Even during Totality, it will get darker. The clouds here, they are thicker, but they're not totally blocking out the light today in Dallas. So that's going to be something that we experience. Listen to the crowd of some cheers because the sun's still trying to emerge from the clouds. We had a window, it was last hour, where the clouds broke free right as the partial eclipse began, and that was helping, aiding in the ability for us to see the sun. But now it's kind of pulling a trick on us. We've got these clouds, it's kind of dark, but then when the sun moves away from the clouds, it still looks kind of dark. Well, that's because we've got most of the moon blocking it. So the moon and clouds right now working in tandem, people pointing up to the sky watching. We got a pretty big cloud that's about to move overhead here soon. And some of these clouds later today in Texas will be making for some stormy weather. We're taking a look in Junction. And as far as what we've got in Junction, the clouds have been a problem in South Texas through the hill country closer to Austin. The Totality still nearing its maximum. As those clouds break free, just check that out. What an image that we have. The moon so close to eclipsing the sun. We're just less than 15 minutes away from Totality beginning in Junction. And from that point, it will continue to race off to the north-northeast. It picking up speed as it gets a little closer to the poles, the orbit and the shadow moving faster, a little closer to the poles. We are right now wanting to bring in Connor Hansen in Buffalo, New York. Buffalo, one of the many cities in the path of Totality, so many cities across the country getting it positioned right along the lakes. Sometimes we get this lake shadow effect. Connor, tell us what we have going on up there in Buffalo as we near Totality.
Hi, Stephen. That's right. Here in Buffalo, we're just starting to see some coverage here. You know, the big question in Buffalo, of course, like so many other cities, would it be clear enough skies to get a direct look at the eclipse? So far, we're seeing that those clouds break up enough to get our glimpse here and there. I've got my glasses. I was able to take a look myself. We see the moon just starting to cross over a little bit. We're in a beautiful park right here in the heart of Buffalo where people are spread out. You can see behind me, people are camped out. They've got blankets, seats, hoping to get a front row view of this. But all morning, it's been a little bit dicey. It was cloudy, a pretty heavy cloud cover this morning. We even saw a little bit of rain. So we're hoping it continues to break up as we get closer and closer to Totality up here. I know it tended to clear up a little bit further south as well. We're told upwards of 1 million people came to the state of New York just to see this, so hoping they can get a clear view. And even if it's cloudy, you know, we've seen reports of how cool it can still be when we get into complete darkness and still getting that experience. So hopefully everyone who traveled here, who spend money on their stay, will get quite the show here.
Here it comes. Connor, appreciate it there in Buffalo, New York, as we're approaching Totality here in Dallas, Texas. From perspective, we have it when you consider the U.S. It starts in the south and it's going to ultimately end in the north. Let's hope that those clouds break free. Dallas and Texas has been one of those cities where the question has been if the clouds would be blocking the way. It is a fascinating sky that we have right now in Dallas. I got my solar glasses on, taking a look at what's going on. The sun has been able to emerge behind a pretty big cloud, one that looks to be a towering cumulus cloud. These are the clouds that'll eventually bring rain, and they've got that vertical development, and sometimes that creates, well, the chance for rain. You notice the light behind me? It's getting dimmer. That's now with the sun fully removed from the clouds. We right now have a sunny sky behind us. Notice how dark it is. What a sight to see. Is it a little cooler? For sure. it's not as warm as what it was just about an hour ago. We are now 13 minutes away from Totality here in Dallas, and the moon moving closer and closer to the edge of the sun, where we'll eventually get Totality. It's amazing to see, and the kids are loving it. There's cheers. We've got Ready, Jet, Go, providing the music and the entertainment. Nothing's really boring about it. I guess if there was a boring part, it was the beginning, when some wondering, is this going to get dark? How much time do we have? Partial, at least leading into total, it takes about 70 to sometimes 90 minutes. So we have that on the front end of this total solar eclipse, and we'll have it on the back end. So in total, we're talking close to 3 hours or so. But most of the sun right now, as we're taking a look in Dallas, most of the sun is covered. And it almost looks like those horns, the horns of the crescent sun. Those are more evident. It's sort of a terminology used, more evident during a partial eclipse, a ring of fire eclipse. That's what we saw back in October, and you would see the edges more so begin to emerge, because during a ring of fire eclipse, while the moon is in front of the sun, it's at its furthest point in the orbit. We're looking in Eagle Pass right now. Eagle Pass, as we speak, I believe Totality is beginning. Totality has now entered the United States, and if I'm looking right, it looks dark in Eagle Pass, doesn't it? We have that shadow of the moon, the umbra, the darkest part of the shadow, is now moving into the U.S., moving out of Mexico, and right along Eagle Pass, we have Totality, which has started. That Totality lasting well over 3 minutes in Eagle Pass. You can see the lights turned on. Wouldn't be surprised if some of those light sensors, the ones that are sensitive to light, if those have turned on now. You might want to turn them off if you want to get the full scope of this. But the vanishing sun, this vanishing light, is evident. This continuing in Eagle Pass, remarkable to see it, as we're also looking at now what the sun appears here in Dallas. It's one of the cases in Dallas. We've got several events that are being hosted across the city, and really across the area, suburbs too, of Dallas, hosting their own events. The way the clouds are right now, as they're beginning to build, you might have sun for 20 minutes, and then you'll have clouds for 5. You'll have sun for 5 minutes, and then clouds for 20 minutes. That's what we're dealing with. You could be 2 miles away, but I think a good chunk of Dallas, the Metroplex, Fort Worth included, going to see this Totality. We're already seeing it occur in Eagle Pass, which in South Texas, that's where that risk has been greater. I'm gonna put my glasses on because we're not quite in Totality yet. It is getting so close, and the sun remains emerged from the clouds. We are not seeing the obstruction here at the Cotton Bowl of the clouds yet, but there's one that's not too far away wanting to move on in. But what we're hoping for, that those clouds stay away. I'm telling you, it is razor thin. It's a nail biter. It's one of those moments that if Scott King, you want to take a look, you don't have to focus on me. It's worth a shot to take a look. It's not one of those things where we're hoping that we, get dark. We know we'll get dark in the clouds, but it's being able to naturally experience that. That's what's so amazing. I'm moving around, and I want Scott to be able to see it, because this is one of those opportunities that you only get once in a lifetime. In Dallas, the last total solar eclipse in North Texas was in the late 1800s, 1878. So people who live in Dallas, who might not be able to travel, not have the means, not have the ability to travel, you hope that path of Totality reaches your city. But there's a chance it won't in a lifetime. On average, across the planet, it happens every 350 years. Some cities are lucky, and averages, as we know, some it occurs more frequently, others less frequent. But in North Texas, the case, we're not going to see another one here until 2317. But in the U.S., we'll have an opportunity in 2044, and then another total solar eclipse in 2045. That one's going to go coast to coast, and that's going to affect now the state of Florida. I'm putting my glasses back on. I mean, the sights behind me, we are getting darker, and we have a sunny sky right now. I think we're good. The one cloud that we had that was sort of in the way looks like the dry air has overcome it some. These clouds are wanting to build today in North Texas, but that dry air is saying, nah, you're not going to get in on the view. I'm not looking at the sun, I'm looking at the clouds right now. And I think that we're going to see the clouds stay away. I mean, Right now, we would have mostly sunny skies. Check this out behind me. It's amazing. We are so close to Totality in Dallas. It's occurring here. I think we're at the bottom of the hour right now. It's 2:32. We're 8 minutes away from Totality beginning here in Dallas. It's going to occur for 3 minutes and 52 seconds. It's a sight to behold. I kid you not. The Cotton Bowl, we've had clouds around us. There is this patch of blue skies that has just emerged. A few high, thin cirrus clouds that we're seeing, but other than that, I think we're going to get treated to a total solar eclipse. I don't want to speak too soon. I've jinxed stuff a few times here before, but we might get treated to it. We are less than 8 minutes away from Totality beginning, but what we're experiencing right now is incredible. Kerrville, Texas, I think we have a shot. Kerrville, Texas, when we consider what happened back in October, this is the crossroads of that eclipse, of the Ring of Fire, and of what we're seeing right now. Kerrville, Texas has just entered Totality. It will continue. You see those wispy clouds moving through. We are dealing with some clouds in Kerrville, but as we're looking, that Totality has shown itself, fortunately, and hopefully for people in Kerrville, able to enjoy it. Look at what's occurring, though, around the corona. You can see those brighter shoots of light. That's an indication of our sun right now. It's so active. And the activity that we see on the sun directly impacts us here on Earth. It's in these spots, if they're Earth directed, that we get these coronal mass ejections, these CMEs, and the solar flares. I mean, we're heading toward a maximum, but as we were looking just in Kerrville, I believe Totality occurred. We're switching back over to Dallas. I got to take a look up again because there are a few clouds that are close. But what I'm watching, we have a general in the mid-levels, low levels of our atmosphere right now, a south wind, and the clouds generally moving. Start crying. From the south to the north, clear skies, though, it looks like. It's overwhelming. I didn't think I was going to cry. It's overwhelming. It's amazing to see. A thin cloud moving overhead, but how weather plays such a role in having the ability to see it. I'm overwhelmed. I'm sorry. And I'm not a pretty crier, guys. We're looking, Totality is nearing, we're nearing that moment, about 6 minutes away. And this is something that is quite remarkable. The buildup that we had, the clouds in Texas, a threat. And we still have some of those clouds that are moving through, but it looks like from the perspective, I was talking about that south wind, because that's weather related. And we're talking about something that is less weather, but more cosmic, an alignment that we have such a privilege here on Earth of experiencing, and it's amazing to have the path of Totality. We are so close to total darkness here. We're about 5 minutes, less than 5 minutes away from this occurring, and high clouds, that risk has been dwindling throughout the afternoon. The high clouds, we were like, yeah, we can contend with. It was those lower clouds that were really going to be a problem. I'm just watching how the weather today in Dallas, and it's with each city along this path of Totality, the weather that we have in Dallas really guided by the winds. And if you live along the Texas coastline and you've spent time, if your life in Dallas, that south wind brings in moisture. That south wind brings in the clouds. It brings in the rain, which you need in Texas, certainly, especially in the summer. But one of these events, like you hope will clear the skies. You hope that early April will feature sunny skies, as 20 to 30 years worth of data and records indicate. But we are right now just 4 minutes away from Totality. We've got the sun shadow, the darkest part, the umbra, about to move over Dallas-Fort Worth, the Metroplex. We have the largest city in the path of Totality almost going to get dark. It is so weird. It is so eerie what we're feeling here now in all the good ways as that light's beginning to vanish. One thing that I've done, you can create a pinhole projector with your hands, and if you do that, you'll cast shadows on the ground, and you can see little crescents of the sun. It is so unique and so cool to see with what's happening. I mean, the sun steals the show. Really, solar glass is on. There's going to be a moment here in about 3 minutes, less than 3 minutes, that we'll be able to remove our solar glasses, and then we're going to see totality. We might even have the opportunity to see the solar, the corona. I'm looking because I'm making sure that south wind's not going to bring in moisture. And we have some higher wispy clouds, but I think we're okay. I mean, we've got blue skies here at the Cotton Bowl, and we are getting so close. I mean, it is just the slimmest edge of the sun right now, which is showing in Dallas as you're looking at. To see it though in real life is incredible. It's one of the reasons why so many people go to that path of totality in hopes. And I was talking to a lot of people yesterday, and they were considering maybe leaving, moving north, because the clouds were showing some signals, the forecast models showing some signals of breaking up in North Texas, in parts of Oklahoma. But we are getting so close to totality now, less than 2 minutes to go. 2:40 is when it begins here in Dallas. 2:44 is when we'll see that totality end, but this is nearing. And just to capture and take in the sights, it's getting real dark here in Dallas. We've got a little bit of a cloud that's trying to move over, and that might be blocking a little bit of the light, but with our solar glasses, we can still see the sun. It is putting on quite a show, and we are hearing the cheers and those moments now ticking away. Less than 2 minutes to go before totality. I'm going to be joined here shortly by Carrie Black. She's with the National Science Foundation. Want to give her an opportunity to view the eclipse, to see the totality. Her life's work has been around the astronomical science division at the National Science Foundation, but she's going to be joining me here shortly to talk about it. But we have a moment. I think that we're about less than a minute away from totality. That's going to be occurring here in just a short time. I do think the clouds are going to stay away, and we'll notice the darkness. Pupils have been adjusting just a bit. Temperatures maybe dropping a little, holding steady. Certainly not what you would expect in the middle of the afternoon in Dallas, where we have a chance of severe weather. But we've got those clouds getting so close. There's a cloud that's just near, and we are less than a minute away from totality. It is just the sliver of the sun's surface that we're seeing. The moon about to totally eclipse the sun. Take in the sounds. Listen to the cheers here as we are about to enter totality here in Dallas, Texas, just in time. There's a little bit of a cloud that we have that's just moved over. Those winds out of the south easing just a little bit, but we're seeing just a sliver of the sun. The moon's about to totally eclipse it. You can kind of see it, but you guys would not believe this. There is a cloud that's moving through from the surface, but you can just see the edge of it. This is so amazing. Oh my gosh, it's dark. It is dark here in Dallas. We've got totality. And we have a little cloud, but that's okay. Totality, darkness over Dallas. The lights are out at the Cotton Bowl, and this is what we have. I've got Carrie Black asking for the sun to move away, the cloud to move out of the sky. Look at the planet. The planet's emerged. I think that's Venus. Oh my gosh, there it is. Carrie! Oh my God! Look at that! Oh my gosh, I didn't know you, but this is an amazing experience. Carrie, what's going through your mind? You've got to.
I just can't even.
Watch it.
Look at that.
Take it in.
Look at that.
You see the corona?
You can see the corona. You can see streamers. You see the little
streamers.
You see how the streamers,
yes.
They're these like long, bright features. This is amazing.
We have totality. We have clear skies.
Oh my God.
Just one little cloud. Had to be dramatic.
Oh yeah, it did. That's right. That's
the
right.
clouds have cleared.
Oh wow.
We're in this for the next few minutes.
You can see the
Tell
little
me what you're,
sparkly
yes,
bit.
say
See,
everything.
there's a little tiny little sparkly bit down at the bottom.
Yes.
See the
There's
features
some
from the
activity on the surface.
There is.
It's very active as we speak.
It's amazing.
Like we're heading toward a solar maximum.
We are,
This
yeah.
is way more active than 2017 from what I remember. It's amazing. Can you see it with your... I can't see it with my solar glasses anymore.
No.
It's covered up.
It's completely covered. You can
We're
just
in
see the bright
Totality.
ring. Oh my goodness. This is unbelievable.
On the
This is
southern edge of it too.
Yes.
Just those shoots of light.
Yes. Isn't that incredible? This is all following magnetic field. This is all of those features that you can see are following magnetic field.
The magnetic field.
Yes, of the sun. Yep.
Wrapping around it, following it.
It's that's the sun's magnetic field is it's sort of like a big giant bar magnet, but it has all of these complex features that like shoot stuff off in different directions, and that's what creates these streamers.
There's Venus, other planets.
Jupiter's supposed to be up here.
Dallas, a big hub for a lot of airlines. We got a couple of planes flying overhead. They're getting that view right now. They are in the shadow of the moon in the middle of the afternoon.
It's wild. It's wild how dark and cold it is right now.
I can't believe it.
Yeah.
Because we were talking about humidity. That south wind today bringing in the moisture doesn't matter.
No. People are going crazy behind us.
You hear the sights. I'm taking it all in. This is what we were hoping would happen in Dallas, and those clouds have parted, and we are getting in on Totality.
Oh man.
I can't imagine. I can't believe it.
It's just incredible. It's
a new moon.
Yeah.
It only happens.
It
and
only
the
happens
last
in a
solar
new
eclipse
moon.
also moved through the U.S. It wasn't a total one. It was the Ring of Fire, but these back-to-back solar eclipses.
It's incredible, right?
How
It's
lucky.
allowed so many people to like get energized, excited about it, come out and see the natural world. It's just amazing.
I am just amazed, and it's still happening.
Yeah.
We're still dealing.
We're still seeing 4 minutes is a long time.
It's a long time, and I'm here for it. Cool off these temperatures.
Oh, feels good.
Let's mitigate that severe weather risk today, right? The cooler the temperatures, the less. We know that total path is about 100 miles. That's going to do very little to affect storms, but I can't believe what we have going on here in North Texas. There's a diamond ring.
Oh, there it is.
There's the diamond ring. It has emerged. Oh my God, the diamond ring over Dallas.
Woo! Oh my God.
And the returning sun. Unbelievable.
Oh man, and there it comes.
It's happened.
There it comes.
Carrie, I'm so grateful that you were here for this moment.
Thank you for having me
Was
here.
this your first solar eclipse?
This is the first time I've seen the corona with my bare eyes. It is amazing.
What did you think
It is
of it?
amazing. I have studied the sun for 15 years. This is unbelievable. I'm just,
Overwhelmed.
yeah, very overwhelmed. Very overwhelmed. It's just a full body. Feel it everywhere. You see it here, just feel it everywhere.
What sparked your interest in the sun?
Looking at
You
the
work at the
pictures
Astronomical
of it.
Division
I
of
do.
the National Science Foundation.
I do. But I was in grad school and was in a group that did space science and started looking at pictures from ground-based telescopes of the sun and had no idea that there were so many features, that it was so complex and so dynamic. And seriously, I looked at that and was like, this is what I have to do with my life.
My word.
Yeah.
And now an opportunity. You took a risk being in Dallas with
yeah,
those clouds.
Yeah,
Were you
it wasn't
stressing
looking
about it a
good.
little bit?
I was, but I said it doesn't matter because we're all going to be together. We're going to have an experience whether we can see the corona or not. And then we got so
We got it, and we experienced it together.
Yeah,
I was overwhelmed by the winds. I'm still gonna, because the weather and space weather are vastly different.
Yes.
And I think that there's just a natural interest that I have in space weather, but knowing that south wind, it's something in Houston when I worked down at the one of the local affiliates there, we watched it, and that south wind was such a detriment to sunny skies. And I wasn't sure how Dallas would fare. I know that North Texas was favorable, but to have this opportunity, and look at it, we've got another cloud. There's a cloud that's beginning to move over the sun. We don't want to look directly at the sun anymore, but that total solar eclipse, what a sight to behold.
Oh my goodness. Oh
2044, when's the next time? I mean, if you have the opportunity, you can travel elsewhere.
You can. In 2026, there will be one in Spain, but 2044 here.
In the United States. Carrie Black, thank you so much. Thank you for sharing. I'll give you a hug.
Share this with you. Thank you.
I'm telling you what, it was an experience I didn't expect getting choked up. I mean, you deserve it. You've dedicated your life's work to it.
Thank you.
But Carrie Black with the National Science Foundation joining me for Totality. What an amazing opportunity. I know it's happened in Dallas. It has passed on. We're seeing now the returning light, the returning sun. We saw planets. I'm soaking it in, and I cannot wait because we've got our team all along the path. Janice Dean in Little Rock, Kendall Smith. I want you to bring it and take it all in because if you have sunny skies, it's a sight to behold. I'll tell you that much.
And Stephen, I am just at a loss for words at what you just experienced. It was emotional for you. I want to know about this. I mean, gosh, you said you didn't plan on getting emotional, but that just gave me chills knowing that that's what I'm just about to experience in as little as 18 minutes. Stephen, behind me, it's so interesting, like you mentioned, how it's getting so much darker. It is getting cooler as well.
Yep.
I mean, I'm just now starting to experience what you just went through. I really want to know, what was it? At what point did it really hit you? Wow, I'm actually able to witness this, because I know that, I mean, for the last few weeks we've been talking about it. Will the clouds clear? And they did, and boy, just at the right time for you.
It was the thought of like these clouds that were going to move through. It was adding a little bit of, I guess, drama, and it got the best of me. But you lean into it. You allow this to happen. I mean, we know that eclipses across our solar system happen. The total solar eclipses, though, are so unique here to Earth because of the apparent size, and you see the disk right over the sun. But for me, I was looking at the clouds. I've been so stressed about the clouds in Dallas. I've been holding out hope and telling people it looks like we might have a dry slot in North Texas along the Red River somewhere, and I wasn't sure if it would be far enough to the south, but it sure enough was. I hope as you're looking up away from the sun, not looking at the sun, but the clouds, I hope that you don't have a cloud that's obstructing the view. I mean, taking the sight in for yourself, Kendall, right now, I'd encourage you to do it. I'd watch. There's a moment where it just gets dramatically darker. We saw planets emerge. We saw Venus as bright as day. It was nighttime in Dallas for those few minutes. And this is occurring all along the path of totality right now, about to move into the Arklatex, move into extreme southeastern Oklahoma. We're looking at totality right now in Arkadelphia, Arkansas, Kendall, so close to Oklahoma. Arkadelphia right now, that totality beginning. And talking to Carrie Black was such a treat, indicating and showing how the sun and how the corona is so active right now and responding to the magnetic sphere that the sun has. That was such a treat to see, because just to catch it and take it all in, but then you get scientists and experts who love this stuff. And they were treated to a clear sky in Dallas, Texas. What a moment.
And also Idabel, Oklahoma. I mean, right now, like you were just mentioning, Arkadelphia, Arkansas, that's the shot that we are looking at currently. Southeastern Oklahoma as well, experiencing this exact same shot. How incredible it is to see, and knowing just the difference, how different this particular total solar eclipse is compared to what we experienced back in 2017. That was one of my questions that I really was curious to ask you, Stephen. How does this compare? I think I know the answer. I think that you're going to say that this was a lot better. It sure seems like it in terms of the overall experience, but what would you say really sticks out to you in your mind in terms of the biggest difference between the two total solar eclipses that occurred in just the last 7 years?
The corona is so active right now. It is just bursting with activity. You know, you'll see it. You'll see it for yourself in just a little bit, Kendall. You will know what I'm talking about. In 2017, we were near a solar minimum. And the sun wasn't as active. We didn't have so many sunspots on the surface. We weren't dealing with this increased activity, which downstream with the solar wind can affect, we get the northern lights, the aurora borealis, and it can also lead to some communication issues. But it was a corona. It's so much more active. And the length of time, I mean, this went on for about 4 minutes, the quickest 4 minutes of my life. You don't want it to end because it's such a buildup, years of planning for this. But Yes, it was the fact that the corona was so active. That's really what I saw. And also the emergence of the planets. I don't remember seeing that in 2017. While it occurred, it was really a treat here in Dallas.
And Stephen, I don't mean to cut you off, but Arkadelphia right now experiencing the beautiful, stunning diamond ring effect. I am so incredibly excited. How long would you say that that really lasted for you all? I mean, it seems that it's a little bit longer than I would have anticipated it as we start to see the Bailey's beads disappear with that one last kind of shot of bright light.
Yeah. The diamond ring lasts about 10 seconds, 10, 15 seconds. It's just as the sun is about to be totally eclipsed, and then you get it just as the moon's emerging from the surface. But I mean, look at some of those shoots that we're seeing from the sun. This ball of gas in our solar system. It's unreal. And we're at a solar maximum. This is a treat. I know heliophysicists are going wild right now, being able to detect this throughout the United States, the research. We have planes, jets, which are flying with NASA right now, collecting very important data, understanding how the corona and how these shoots that we're looking at right now from the surface of the sun interact, ones that are certainly down the line affecting us here on planet Earth, how that interaction in that system works. But in Arkadelphia, we're seeing, I believe that now, yes, it's the returning sun as Totality has ended. That diamond ring, though, was a treat. I didn't see it at the beginning, Kendall.
Stunning. I
didn't see the diamond ring because we had a cloud that moved over right as Totality began, but then that cloud dissipated and the sun emerged behind the clouds, and we were able to see the diamond ring on the backside. So two opportunities that we have. Here's Russellville, Arkansas, now in Totality and seeing that happen. And these glasses during Totality, you can't see anything. You can't see the surface of the sun.
Right.
It's not blocking out the corona.
Yeah, and I just wanted to also bring up the fact that you're mentioning just kind of the flights taking place. So we have a Southwest Airlines flight that's right now in air, so traveling from Dallas all the way up to Pittsburgh. Can you imagine what that would be like, Stephen? I'm so incredibly lucky to get to experience this total solar eclipse with you out in the field for Fox Weather for America's Total Solar Eclipse. But I think we need to one it up, and it's going to take 20 years to do so, but we need to get up there in the sky. I mean, gosh, our next flight, the Delta Airlines flight, DFW, all the way up to Detroit as well. I mean, what a spectacular experience for so many people. I can't wait,
cool.
and I'm just about
Kendall,
to
I'm just noticing
get down
our
with
shots.
everyone.
It's getting dark behind you. Take in those sights.
dark.
My word, it is so
dark.
close. How close are we till Totality for you?
We are right now, I was just pulling this up, Stephen, so it's 2:55 here local time, and we are just about 10 minutes away from Totality. So 11 minutes and 49 seconds to be exact. I can't wait. And just seeing the change, the crowd, what they're experiencing, everyone beginning to look up. I'm about to have to put my eclipse glasses on so that I can safely look up at the sun as well. And just how chilly it is, how cool it is. It's so interesting to also see behind me just the kind of reaction from folks. It's quiet. People are just taking in what's happening. We've had some music playing. We've been having the NASA broadcast going on behind me as well. But honestly, everyone is so captivated by looking up right now. That is everyone's main focal point. Nobody's really talking right now. So I'm so incredibly excited. Also looking still in Arkadelphia, Arkansas, and just watching the last final moments of this just amazing experience for so many people. The fact that this is most likely going to be the most watched total solar eclipse in U.S. history. So happy for you. The sun's still shining out there. So happy for us here as well in the Midwest. Interestingly enough, though, I was curious to see what your thoughts are. If you're looking up right now in terms of any, do you see any towering cumulus clouds, any storms starting to go up? Because we even just had a tornado watch issued for your location, and or just to the east of your location, rather, I should say. So some storms developing, but thankfully, as we expected after the solar eclipse. Here's that shot, though, Carbondale, Illinois. Notice that, gosh, beautiful, just that sliver of light peeking its way through. Gorgeous to see. I'm going to step down, Stephen, so I can get ready and get in position so that I can watch this moment and take it all in just like you did.
I
cannot wait.
I can take it just for a minute as you get in position to experience it. Carbondale is such a unique area in Southern Illinois because in 2017, that's where the path of totality moved through. So imagine living in the city of Carbondale in Southern Illinois, and within a matter of 7 years, you are treated to 2 total solar eclipses. Not solar eclipses, which are partial, but 2 total solar eclipses. And in Carbondale, we're seeing that occur as we speak. Clouds, a threat along this path of totality, but them in Dallas able to clear, and hopefully that's the case there in Carbondale, getting so close to totality. It's an amazing sight to see. It's moving up. It's already crossed the Mississippi River, the moon shadow, the Numbra, the darkest part of the shadow, moving into Southern Illinois. Our folks in St. Louis, nearly 90% totality there. They're going to be able to see it, which is awesome. So close to home. Indianapolis, though, is nearing that, Kendall. It's so close. It's so cool. It's almost otherworldly, even though, as we know, Earth, one of the only places where we can experience a total solar eclipse. Amazing, and we're seeing that occur in Carbondale, Illinois right now, and it's going to continue to race 1,500 to 2,000 miles an hour as it approaches the poles. I'm sorry, I'm getting choked up again. It's something about the Midwest, Kendall. In Indianapolis, but take it away. I want to know what you're experiencing, what you're feeling. You should probably at this point, the temperatures are holding steady, if not dropping just a little bit. It's getting dark. I'm being told, of course it's getting dark, but being told to toss to Robert Ray. Robert Ray, you're in the path of totality as well. Carbondale right now in totality, or maybe just moments away from that as we're watching the moon eclipse the sun. Tell us what you have in Indianapolis. I know you're watching it from a couple of different vantage points.
Well, my vantage point, Stephen, is eye and head in a lens with the farthest zoom in you can on this partial eclipse right now. I hope that we're seeing the picture right now from this camera, and look at that as the moon is crossing between the Earth and the sun right now. We are approaching totality at 3:06. Let's see what time we got right now, 2:59, and you could feel the temperatures dropping and just sort of this almost like there's a filter on the atmosphere right now that has been put, and some quiet. The crowd has quieted down. People are looking up into the atmosphere right now, waiting for that total eclipse to occur several minutes from now. And we've got our eye trained, and you're looking at exactly what I'm looking at, hopefully on the screen right now. Any kind of movement you see is because I'm having to adjust this camera the entire time because of the speed of this solar eclipse, a partial eclipse right now. Hey, I want to bring in a bunch of fellows over here from Purdue University. Students, come on over, guys, if you can. These guys sang the national anthem here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Guys, bear with me one second. You're live on Fox 4. Circle around me over here if you can so that Lloyd, who's behind the camera, can see. And I'm going to train this camera back for our viewers and let the actual motion of the atmosphere and the speed go right across the frame, guys. Take a look inside, and I want to get your reaction. Chulo is your name, right? Chulo, take a look and tell me what you think.
Wow, that's amazing. It's once in a lifetime for sure.
It is, and you guys sang the national anthem. That had to be once in a lifetime here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, right?
We did. It was amazing, yeah.
Incredible. What do you think? Did you notice it's getting dark and the temperatures have dropped a little bit, and how quiet it's gotten?
Yeah, it's surreal for sure. It's very cold, and it's getting darker and everything like that, yeah.
Incredible. Let's get some of your student colleagues over here. Take a look inside. Let me know what you think for sure as we are approaching the total solar eclipse here, moments away, minutes away in the 3 o'clock hour. A little breeze that just kicked up too. Everybody take a look in there, and I want to know, does anybody have anything that's surprising you so far about this eclipse? I mean, have you experienced one before?
I haven't, no. I haven't gone out to see one.
And is anything surprising you?
Well, I'm looking around and not a lot of phones are out. It's kind of people just enjoying the moment and just being among their family and friends.
That doesn't happen in this day and age, right?
Not usually, no.
No, that's a good point. I love that. Who's looked in there? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's really absolutely incredible. And I think the biggest thing that surprised me is how much colder it's gotten. It was like really hot just like a few minutes ago. And now it's very comfortably cool. So
Yeah, for our viewers, like 75, 76 degrees, it's been sun. You really have needed sunscreen out here today. And let me just take a quick look back into the lens here. I don't want to look up. I'm a little freaked out to do that. Let me retrain the camera here, guys, over. The deal is I have to move the actual frame of this camera to the far left and let it move to the right on the screen because that's what's happening up in the air. Oh, they have the music from the movie Interstellar playing in the background. Very dramatic. I know you guys can't hear that right now, but it is dramatic as everybody is beginning to look up. Oh, I shouldn't look up. Let me get my glasses. That's the thing. If you're watching this, make sure you have your glasses on as we are seeing. It is, I mean, you can't believe how clear it is here. There's not even slight cloud cover moving across the frame here of the moon right now that is moving between the Earth and the sun. Look at that. We are getting really, really close. You know, I have to say, it's almost like a sporting event, right? Where like it's play-by-play. Who wants to be the sporting event guy and tell me what you're thinking? We haven't heard from you yet. Carlos, what do you think?
Sure. I honestly think this is like just an incredible experience. This is not something I ever have experienced or have like even thought about experiencing, and honestly don't really have any words on like what to say right now. It's just so incredible to like be in this moment.
I know, and that's the thing. By the way, a Southwest airplane about to land over in Indianapolis International Airport. We're looking at that right now, and what I can't get over, and I'm just going to let you take this in, the viewers, real quick. And let me make sure that our shot is okay here. But I'm just going to be quiet because I want you to hear the silence here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. I'll give it 5 seconds. You could hear a pin drop. Now, when we get the total eclipse, which what time is it right now? Let me look at back here in about 3 minutes. At that point, then you're going to hear eruptions from the crowds. There's absolutely going to be an amazing scenario here. Who have I not talked to about? Has everyone looked inside this lens? You have. What's your take?
I think it's amazing to see, you know, thousands of people from around the Indiana community all focused on celebrating science. NASA is here. It's awe-inspiring to see everyone just celebrating this once-in-a-lifetime event.
Did you guys feel that? The darkness? Yeah. How about that darkness that just came in? Kendall, what are you experiencing right now over there?
I am experiencing exactly what you are experiencing, Robert. The theme music to Interstellar, just how eerie that feels. That's the best way to describe this right now, having never experienced something like this before. We are just moments away from reaching totality, second contact right now. We are just looking at the last sliver. You mentioned being able to hear a pin drop. That's exactly what I can hear as well. I'm starting to hear the cheers, though. Here they come. Cheers. The cheers are beginning. We have folks that are down on the track right now. We also have folks that are up in the stands, grandstands, also right here with me on Pagoda Plaza. So we are all in this together in this moment. I'm just watching. I'm trying to even block out a little bit of that extra light that's coming in on the side, just so I can really see what's happening with the sun's corona and just anything in particular as it's just giving way. Folks cheering yet again. There's a breeze. I'm feeling it. People I'm getting choked up, lost for words, trying to just take in the last few moments and how incredible this really is right now. Looking up, I can see it. It's almost like every single second that ticks by, disappearing more and more and more, and we are just about there. Right about now. Woo! Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Total darkness. Holy cow. Wow. I have my glass. I can take my glasses off. Oh my gosh. Whew. Tears. Oh my gosh. Wow. Trying to take this in. So bright, so beautiful. I'm looking at folks around me, just the cheers. People are also moved. Just, I'm trying to just really take in this moment right now. I'm getting so emotional at this time. Just how vibrant, Stephen, you said it best, how vibrant the corona is, and just to see how far it extends. Also, I can see Venus as well, seeing the planets incredibly bright. I'm looking around to see if I can see anything else. I mean, it's interesting. It looks like a sunset right over the horizon at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. I hear phones going off as well. I mean, gosh, it's so bright, all the lights, all the camera lights. I want to go to Robert now because, I mean, I don't know, Robert, how you're feeling, but I did not expect to be taken aback that way, emotionally speaking. It happened to Steven, it happened to me. Robert, I'm just wanting to know how you are in this moment right now. This is absolutely remarkable. I'm at a loss for words.
It is incredible to see it with our own plain eyes. And you know something? It's not a home run. It's not a touchdown. It's not a hat trick. It's not a hole-in-one. No, it's none of that. It is atmospheric bliss. And sweet mother, this is total eclipse. Unbelievable here, live on Fox Weather. Gentlemen, your thoughts?
I'm speechless. It's like the whole state's coming together, like IU, Purdue, wherever. We're just all watching the same eclipse, you know, all together.
Are you shocked at how dark and still it is right now?
Yeah. I mean, it's not like completely dark. It's not completely bright. It's like a coagulation of both that you really never see completely.
You're right. How about you?
I'm just completely blown away. This is nothing like anything I've ever experienced before. So I saw it. I tried to take a picture of my phone. The phone didn't even capture exactly what it looks like. This is something you have to be here for to truly understand how amazing it is, how cool it is. It was amazing.
Totally. Let me get my eye back in here. I just want to make sure. Oh, look at that. Look at the moon right in front of the sun and all of that light coming about it. And you know what? I actually, at the bottom of this image, it almost looks like a solar flare that we can see. Let me just kind of see if I can get a little tighter on this shot. Stand by, guys. I mean, it's a little bit of a technical challenge here. Stand by. Let's see what we can do. Oh, look at that. Are you guys on the shot? Look at the flares. Can you see that? Can you see that? If someone could just get in my ear and let me know whether or not you guys can see that right now. Have I lost? We got it. My goodness, look at the flares coming off. I mean, I can't believe what I'm seeing. Gentlemen, look inside there. You're just not going to believe it.
Oh my God. I didn't get a picture of that.
It's unbelievable, isn't it?
It's something you can never see again.
Go ahead, guys. Let your buddies look in here. I was not.
Oh my gosh! Look at the corner. Yeah, you can see the sun like peak. Oh my gosh!
Oh my God! Let's see. Gonna have to readjust this camera, guys. Stand by. Wow. Okay, I'm having to readjust here, guys. That is phenomenal. Just phenomenal. Man, I cannot get over the flares that we just experienced. And now here comes the light. Here comes the light again. And I'm going to have to change the neutral density on this, guys, and make it just give it a little bit more pump on that f-stop to drop it down in a second here. Going to keep my head in the game as the light is coming back out. And I don't even know how to describe this light. Just amazing, amazing. Do you want to take a look inside the lens? Go ahead.
Wow, that's honestly nothing like I've ever seen before.
I know. I hope they play that movie, that song to Interstellar again. That just kind of fit the whole feel here. This is exactly what we have been waiting for. Clear skies, perfect temperatures, and a total solar eclipse here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Kendall, what a moment here on Fox Weather.
Robert, I was just blinded by the light. That's the best way to describe it. That was so incredibly bright. I had to put my solar eclipse glasses back on to look at it. The sun, again, just now beginning to return, looking over the horizon, just looking up at the speedway behind me. It looks like almost what you would experience during sunrise, like when you start to see just the light coming up over kind of the horizon. That's kind of what we're starting to see. Folks now moving around. I want to see if I can walk around and ask. I've got a Spacey Casey with me. See if I can grab him for a moment. I've got somebody special. I want to ask you, so Spacey Casey, this was your first experience with the total solar eclipse, ever getting to see this as well. What was this like for you? I know that you had to lift up your shade to be able to experience it. I want to know what it was like for you.
It was amazing. I think it's the collaboration, the people all coming together for something like this together, to learn about STEM and learn about NASA and racing and everything educational and science, technology, engineering, math, and then to have that top it off at the end is amazing.
It was incredible and just an amazing experience. And there's so many other communities across the path of totality that are experiencing this as well. We want to send it out now to Fox Weather's Max Gordon in Ohio, as that is the next kind of location where we're going to be watching the exact same incredible experience that I, as well as Robert and Fox News' Jonathan Hunt, just experienced. I mean, just remarkable. Max, are you ready for this? Stephen cried. I cried.
Well, I think I have to be.
A lot of other folks cried. I'm at a loss for words. There's no other way to describe this.
Well, I'll have to come up with a few words off the top of my head to try to describe it, because it is beginning to darken drastically here in Cleveland as we approach totality. We're only about 2, maybe 1 minute away as, wow, looking up into the sky, we're only seeing a sliver of light now, looking out across this crowd. Wow, it is amazing to see the light around us. It's dark here in Cleveland. All eyes are currently on the sky. It is an incredible sight right now. You can see around the sun, there's almost a halo because of the cloud cover here. We're now being submerged into darkness now, plunged into darkness as this crowd is cheering. And there it is. The ring around the sun, you can see it there. The moon blacking out the sun here in Cleveland, Ohio. What an incredible moment this is. Just amazing experiencing this with so many people. I'm joined by Byander. Byander, how does this feel? What are you feeling right now?
This is the most magical thing. I've never looked up at the sky and expected to see something like that. It's a ring. It's a Xbox Red Ring of Death. It's a white circle in the sky where the sun should be. It's nighttime. Those buildings over there are lit up like nothing I've ever seen. It's a sunset there and there. And then on top of that, everything I've looked forward to, seeing in a planetarium as a kid, studying physics in college. This is it demonstrated for the first time in my life in a totally novel way.
Wow, and look at this. You can see flares on the sun all around us. Gosh, Andy, let's move over here. Let's look at this almost sunset view, a 360 sunset all around us right now as people point their phones, stare up into the sky. This is an incredible experience. This is simply magical. You know, the words really don't do it justice. You know, we have everybody just sharing this experience together, looking up into the heavens. You know, it's rare that you experience moments like this, just with everyone sort of just taking in the moment together. It's such a rare experience to have. And just me personally, I've never experienced anything like this in my life. You know, I'm seeing flares shooting out from the bottom of the sun. It's just remarkable. You know, I don't really, as Kendall said, have words to describe how this feels. You can feel the temperature begin to dip right now. Let's talk to these folks over here. Oh, they don't want to talk to us. That's okay. A lot of people just sort of soaking in this moment here. Let's go on over here. Guys, what is this like to see this eclipse, this total eclipse here?
It's like a once-in-a-lifetime thing that you so
I'll have to come over here.
but it's just person it's how to describe it.
It feels surreal, right? Because all around us, we have a pretty good view all around us here. sunset. It's almost like a 360-degree sunset.
Yeah, I didn't think it was going to get this dark.
And do you notice the temperature change right now?
It's a lot
It got
colder.
a lot colder. I didn't expect the temperature change to drop so much.
Incredible. Thank you very much for talking with us on Fox Weather. Everyone here staring up at the sky, just soaking in this moment. Yeah, I mean, I guess from my point of view, you know, you imagine the sun to be sort of almost a yellow light at most times, and this sort of white halo around it is just incredible. It's incredibly beautiful. You know, we were worried about the clouds here in Cleveland, Ohio. This morning it was raining, but somehow everything came together and, you know, we were able to have a clear or relatively clear eclipse. You know, the high clouds that we've been experiencing here really aren't having a huge impact. So now we have to have our glasses back on because the totality is now ending. There we go. You can hear the roar of the cloud as the light begins to return once again. Amazing how quickly the light is returning right now. And look all around us as people put their glasses back on. They don their glasses once again. The sun emerging once again here in Cleveland, Ohio. What an incredible moment this is. Just listening to people here, you know, you hear everyone just, like me, lost for words at this celestial event. Absolutely incredible. I'm going to toss it back to, I don't know who I'm tossing back to. I believe it's Steven back in Dallas, but I'm going to toss it back to you there.
It's
or
okay,
Kendall,
it's okay.
there you are.
Max, I'll take it from you. The fact that you just had the exact same experience that I had as well. Look at the sun
Yeah.
that is shining on me right now. Just how fast that happens, that's going to be happening for you as well. We have a lot of hustle and bustle people around me. What's interesting though is to think about what you mentioned, how bright it was during Totality. It's the closest thing that I've ever seen to a sci-fi movie, let's be honest, and just how unifying this event has been for so many. I also am joined here by Christy. I want to ask you, Christy, this was your first total solar experience. What was it like for you? What were you thinking in the moment?
In the moment, it was amazing because you feel the anticipation, and it's nothing like you thought it would be.
Right.
It's just a once-in-a-lifetime experience. And the most exciting thing was just when it goes total darkness and everyone is just in the moment and clapping and cheering, and then when you see the crest of the diamond, that was amazing.
That was my favorite part as well. Chrissy, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Now we got to send things out to Fox Weather's Brandy Campbell as it just keeps going, folks. Community after community in the path of totality. Brandy, are you ready for what you're just about to experience? Because it has taken my breath away, Steven's breath away, Max Gordon's breath away. I cannot wait to have your experience.
Kendall, look, it is cloudy. We are not going to see this totality, but it just dropped. They have a countdown going from the stage here at the Rochester Museum and Science Center. They're counting down. Can you hear the crowd? 1. Woo! We cannot see the sun and totality, but we can see the sky just went dark, guys. I've been checking the temperatures in the past couple of minutes. I mean, it really went down from about like 72 to 73. It's at 65 degrees on my ammonometer. It is complete darkness. I mean, my goodness. And then off at the distance, you can see some brightness going towards the lake. Oh my gosh, it looks like nighttime. We know, we've heard, if you have a cloudy total eclipse, that it could be even darker. Let's talk to some of the folks out here. I have the Genzik family over here. Guys, we made it to totality. What do you think?
We made it. We made it.
We're very excited.
It's so dark. This is awesome.
What do you think? How does this feel to go from daylight to darkness?
It's just, I mean, we knew it was coming, but when we're here, it's like, oh my God, it's weird, and everybody's screaming. It's so exciing. So, yeah, it's really cool.
My heart is just pumping right now.
I've never experienced anything like this.
Right now, I thought we were gonna miss it, but it's completely dark. You can't see a single thing. Not even the lights.
Not even the light. Thank you, guys. Enjoy it. Hey, guys, right over here, we're live on Fox Weather. We are now in totality for 3 minutes, 38 seconds. What's going through your mind right now?
This is crazy. I didn't think we were actually gonna I don't know. It's crazy. Oh my God.
All right. What are we thinking over here? What's going through your mind?
Well, we've been waiting for this moment for a very long time. So we're excited, a little sad because the clouds, but still, it's amazing.
It is. I agree. And guys, you know, I saw our live streams from Dallas and Indianapolis, and oh my gosh, I wish we had that moment. It looked so cool, but still to see this happen, I mean, it's like nothing. This is my first total eclipse. I can barely see anything because the light's shining on me. It is just so dark out here. The temperature at 66 degrees again. Right before this occurred, it was in the upper or lower 70s, I should say. So we're feeling that temperature drop. There's a lot of folks out here. If I was near any wildlife, I'd be trying to see what's going on with them. Now, through the clouds, we can see a faint blue that we couldn't see before when it was bright outside. But look, we know the sun, it's somewhere in that direction. But man, still a really cool phenomenon. Hey, look, okay, let's...
They're upset up there.
All right, guys, so just a beautiful thing to see, and we're gonna have a couple of minutes in it. Wow. I mean, I wish we could see it, but this is what we've got. The clouds stole the show for us, but we are still getting that complete darkness here. Back to you guys.
Brandy, my heart goes out to you, the fact that you don't get to experience it in its full totality, as that's the best way to describe it, as what Max and Stephen and I just experienced. There's a way we're going to get you out there for the next one, because, I mean, gosh, it's just remarkable. I mean, this is a shot from Tupper Lake, New York. Hard to make out very much as of right now. We have this again going through the Northeast right now, and there is a big gathering right outside of Fox Weather's headquarters in Manhattan, so in New York City. We've got a lot of people that are just anxiously awaiting, mind you, again, not in the path of totality, just a partial eclipse, that kind of magnitude about 89.6%, but still so many people are trying to get out there, capture a glimpse. Adams, New York as well, experiencing this right now. Our totality tracker, Tupper Lake, New York, still looking to see if there's anything that I can see visually from this shot. Not a lot to make out, and gosh, again, best way to describe it, hard. Just a hard thing for so many folks that traveled so far, near and far, to experience this event. I want to send things out now to Nick Koser, who is on Fox Square, right on 6th Avenue in New York City, because I want, here's the shot. Wow, look at that. Tupper Lake, New York. There's that diamond ring, and it's just stunning to see. I mean, that was my favorite part. That is what Christy, who I interviewed, that was her favorite part. Bailey's beads as well, because mind you, there's valleys on the moon, the kind of little breaks of light that shine through with that very last little shot of light with that diamond ring effect. Just remarkable to see. As you can see, Tupper Lake, New York. I mean, gosh, I can only imagine what folks are experiencing there as well. I think of how unifying this event was. The cheers, the just applause from the crowd around me, the emotion, how quiet it was, how chilly it was. Now we're warming back up as well. I mean, it's just remarkable how fast our temperature dropped, a good 8 to 10 degrees, and now I've got the sun on my back, the sun shining. It's beautiful. We are in what's called, again, we've just had our third contact, so I'm looking up at the sun right now, and our end of the partial is going to be at 4:23 p.m. So we still have a little while longer. You still need to make sure that you have your protective eyewear on if you are going to look up at the sky. But wow, totality. Again, Tupper Lake, New York. That shot just never gets old. I have to send it out now to Nick Koser. Nick, this is remarkable. This is one of, if not the coolest experiences I have ever had in my career so far. It is the coolest experience I've ever had.
I know, I've got a little FOMO there. You're seeing totality here. We've got a partial eclipse, and it's about max coverage right now. It's chaos here. I mean, New York City typically is controlled chaos, but you can hear all the car horns, and everybody's got to run and duck and dodge in between buildings to get a little glimpse of the sun. So for 5-10 minutes, one corner, the sun and the eclipse will be visible, and then everybody's got to migrate and kind of follow. It truly is eclipse chasing. You were able to see it just a few moments ago. What'd you think?
I mean, it was pretty cool. I only saw a little bit of it, but
it's a momentous occasion, you know.
Yeah.
What is it, one in 200 years? What is it?
Yeah, they're extremely rare in 2017. The next one comes up in 2044, so it'll be a couple of decades before you can see something like this again. Have you ever seen a eclipse before today?
Actually, I was in Ohio for the last one when I was at school, and we got a great view of it. Better than today, you know, no big buildings, but...
Yeah, Ohio has considerably less skyscrapers, that's for sure. So,
most definitely.
So this one was better than that one?
Sure.
All right, we'll go with that. Well, yeah, we appreciate it, sir. So again, just like that, right? Started talking to that gentleman. Everybody here was looking up, trying to find the eclipse, and the crowd is already dispersed, and they're looking for the next sunny corner. And again, like you mentioned, Kendall, it's amazing how much cooler the temperature has gotten as the moon continues to get in front of the sunshine. What do you think about the eclipse? You guys having fun?
It's crazy. It's cool.
Where are you headed now? Are you going to go try to find another clear spot to go see it?
We're headed to Omaha, Nebraska.
Wow. There you go. All right. Well, I'll let them go catch their flight. I don't want to make them late, but there you have it. And just like that, yeah, we're going to have to go find another street corner to look up and try to find the eclipse, guys.
Wow. Wow. I mean, Nick, like you said, controlled chaos in New York City, especially on a day like today. I want to send things out to Fox News multimedia reporter Kaylee Schuyler because she is live in Burlington, Vermont, that is experiencing totality right now. Kaylee, curious to know if you've ever experienced a total solar eclipse before, and what is your reaction? Because it was incredibly moving for me just a few minutes ago here in Indianapolis.
Oh my goodness, Kendall. I immediately got chills. As soon as full totality hit, the crowd just started cheering, and it was almost like there was this buildup of anticipation. You know, you could feel the excitement in the air right beforehand, but people were a little bit quiet. They were waiting because some people have been waiting for this for years. So this is my first full total solar eclipse, and it's just amazing. We've been in the total eclipse now for about a few minutes. People I think are starting to put their glasses back on to make sure they don't harm their eyes, but it was just such a moving experience, and it's crazy just how dark it really does get. I just feel like people can't describe what it's like to actually see it for your own eyes. I mean, people were up dancing around like with nervous jitters right beforehand, and then it almost gets a little bit emotional, I feel like, for people. I would show you everyone, but it's a little bit dark out here. People started hugging. Some people started shedding a few tears actually back here behind me. And I think people just realize this really could be a once in a lifetime opportunity to see a full total solar eclipse. And talking to people today, people have traveled. Oh, there goes the cheers again. There goes the cheers. You can see things are starting to lighten back up a little bit. People really are just so excited out here. I mean, there are hundreds, if not thousands, of people out here, and the crowds really started to pick up. Oh my goodness, fireworks actually shooting back behind my camera. I wish you guys could see that. So really, there's just a lot of excitement here in Burlington. I am at Perkins Pier, and people really just started to roll in over the last 2 hours. I mean, thousands of people. And look, you can see it's starting to get a little bit lighter now. It's really just the most eerie feeling, especially about 20 minutes leading up to the total solar eclipse. It was an eerie feeling to feel how cool it was starting to get. A little bit of a breeze started to pick up, because about an hour ago, I needed a jacket. And then I was like, wow, it's starting to get a little bit chilly out here. And that's such a bizarre feeling for the middle of the day to feel the weather dropping so rapidly. So now people are starting to kind of walk around a little bit, look at their pictures. You can see this crowd back here behind me, but there are hundreds of people over here to the side of my camera as well. So people are just looking at their photos. Some people were FaceTiming their family. So it really has just been such a monumental day for some people out here.
And Kaylee, it's interesting that you mentioned that, because that's exactly what we experienced here as well at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Fireworks going off, the cheers, a monumental experience for so many, a once-in-a-lifetime experience for so many. Let's bring in now exclusive Fox Weather Storm Tracker Mark Sudduth. Mark, I want to know, what are you experiencing in this moment, and is it as cool as the rest of us on our team has experienced so far today?
It is, and I'm going to show it to you as it's happening. I'm going to flip the camera, and I'm just going to kind of let this happen. This is from Holton, Maine. I got my family here, and here it comes. Totality is imminent. What time is it, Cole? All right, we got 1 minute. It's getting dark. Totally clear skies here. Incredible. You guys still got me in New York? Look at that. Holy crap. That is... Absolutely incredible here, Fox Weather. It's reduced me to tears. I can't explain it. Here with my family. Just incredible. You can look at it now. Yep. All right. Oh. There's Mark in tears. It's like watching a child be born. I can't. I mean, and I've talked to other people that said they felt the same thing, so I'm not, there's no shame in crying. That is incredible. Absolutely incredible. Got my family here, my daughter. You'll remember this the rest of your life. Other daughter, Mallory, Josh, and my wife, Rebecca. And then my second oldest son, Cole, and his girlfriend, Maddie. And here's what it looks like. Absolutely incredible. It is hard to comprehend. And everybody else in the country that was able to see it, I'm so happy for you. A lot of anxiety. But this is just, look at that. That's incredible. Like being on another planet. What do you think, Daphne? I mean, you see the sunrise and 360 degrees. Wow, the best 3 minutes and 20 seconds I think I've had in a long time. This is just incredible. And we're getting ready to get the diamond ring effect. Those are solar prominences, like the sun's energy coming off. You can actually see it. Wow, that 3 minutes is fantastic. It's windy, it's chilly, and we're getting ready to get the diamond ring effect. Yep. What was that? Something flashed up there. And I want to thank Walmart for turning off the lights for us before we even had to worry about it. There it is. Here it comes. All right, Fox Weather. That's it. It's back. Wow. You guys seeing me?
Mark, I'm so glad that you had the exact same experience that Stephen and myself and Robert Ray, Max Gordon. I mean, gosh, we almost need to have a tear tracker going of how many people have shed tears today. I didn't think I would be included on that list, Robert. I really didn't. I don't cry very often. I shed some tears. That just goes to show how incredible this was. And I know, I'm assuming you probably didn't. You've experienced this before. But what was interesting for you, at least?
Well, first of all, good to be next to you
Yes,
and
you as
join
well.
you. We've been all running around, and I'm glad to be next to my colleague, Kendall. So for me, this is my fifth, and it's still incredible.
Yeah.
But my biggest, I guess, passion in these is watching other people's reactions.
Yeah.
Like the gentleman that I were with, the kids, students from Purdue University, there's 6 of them, and they had never experienced it, and they got to look into our lens and look up and have the glasses. We gave them Fox weather glasses, and they were just completely shocked at what they were seeing, especially some of the fireballs that you could see in the sun during the actual eclipse.
That's what I saw as well, Robert, and I'm so glad that you were pointing that out. I mean, because I was wondering, I was curious, I was like, what exactly is happening? You're at a loss for words, you're watching it happen in real time, and obviously you getting to have the luxury of looking at it in your telescope. I had to turn around and see, we still can see NASA's feed up. Just went away just a second ago.
Yeah.
But again, we're still in our partial eclipse. It's going to end here in Indy at 4:23 p.m. But what really shocked me is just how quickly, I mean, Totality has officially ended here in the U.S. Holton, Maine, where Mark Sudduth is located, voted the best location in the U.S. To view the total solar eclipse. I don't know. I mean, that's tough. I feel like we had an incredible view here. There's a lot of places that had just a remarkable view of this eclipse.
This is by far the cleanest, clearest atmospheric view of any kind of eclipse that I've ever experienced.
Really?
Yeah, by far.
Okay.
I mean, Hopkinsville, Kentucky in 2017 was clean, but we still had some cloud cover.
Okay.
And the annular back in October in San Antonio, the clouds parted right before, but this was probably the most intense. And you know what else I just loved? And I forgot that this is what happens. As the eclipse is forming before the totality, the silence of the crowd.
And talk about the interstellar music. That was a nice touch. That gave me chills. I was like, man, that song just gives me chills anyway.
It's so well
The fact
done.
that they had that playing, I mean, hats off to IMS and NASA for doing that. But you're right, it was just, like you said, it was like you could hear a pin drop.
Totally.
Nobody wanted to talk to me. I didn't mind. We were all taking it in together. I wanted to hopefully get an experience with folks, but you almost have to just experience it silently.
And everybody has their own rendition internally of what they're experiencing.
Yeah.
I almost, when I heard Stephen cry and then, just to hear Mark cry, I'm like, man, why can't I get emotional? Clearly life is just too hard for years on me. I can't get emotional about anything anymore.
You got 4 daughters.
Yeah, well, I'm running from those emotions right now. Sorry, girls, if you're watching.
You're a great girl, Dad.
Yes, exactly.
But like you mentioned, I mean, this is your 5th total solar eclipse, and just getting to see everyone else experience it for the first time. Now I have this down. This was a bucket list item for me, and now I feel like I'm going to want to do what you do as well. I mean, just to get to experience it with other people and take part in that first experience for them, because it's just unlike anything I've ever witnessed. How bright it was. I'm really curious also to know, especially as we kind of continue to debrief how today went. I'm curious to know what was interesting, especially to NASA. Hopefully we can get some interviews here later on today.
I know. I was talking earlier to a gentleman, a professor at Purdue, who works with NASA, and he said actually today, because of the clarity of the atmosphere, they were going to learn a ton about the moon, the sun, and the way the Earth interacts with all that. And so they're going to go back and analyze this. So fascinating. We should actually do follow-up pieces on that, probably at Purdue U and with NASA in the months to come. Because yes, it's awe-striking for the spectators, the 50,000 plus people here, but it's also a huge scientific learning day for the academic community.
And the fact that we have had this opportunity twice now in 7 years, this is incredibly unusual, folks. I've had a lot of people ask me, does this happen like this often? And I said yes and no. Yes, we do have total solar eclipses somewhere across the world, but for the U.S. and such a large portion of the U.S. to get to experience this twice in 7 years, remarkable. Unfortunately, it's not going to happen for another 20 years.
20
Robert.
years, I know.
I'm already looking forward to it. I'm excited.
You'll be like my age right now, and I'll be
It's
like
crazy to think about.
in some sort of facility.
I'm going to drag you out. We're going to do it again, Robert. We're going to recreate this moment.
Let's do it.
Let's go ahead and bring in now Stephen Morgan in Dallas. Stephen, what have you been thinking, experiencing what we're all experiencing as well? I mean, you're just like Robert. This isn't your first total solar eclipse, but I mean, gosh, it's got to be fun to watch each one of us on our team get to experience it as well.
I know, and probably a reaction differs for each person, right? From lived experiences and just from where your passion really lies. And having a passion in weather and watching that blend with, well, space weather and just the stars, quite literally the star, it's a perfect combo. And never would I think that a little bit of drama with a few clouds would make this moment forever be remembered. And here in Dallas, there was quite a buildup. I mean, we're at the Cotton Bowl. It's one of the largest stadiums in the country, and there were more than 10,000 people here, schools. And I find it fascinating because while we had shortly after Totality the returning sun, as soon as that was done, people were like, well, all right, let's get going. They're leaving during a partial eclipse, but that's how significant a total solar eclipse is. When you're in that path of totality, and with this one, it was a little wider, right? More than 100 miles wide. When you're in that path, it just changes the whole experience. It's not even, you can't even relate it to the annular eclipse from October, the solar eclipse, the Ring of Fire, even though I think it has a cooler name. But that, I mean, there's no comparison. The fact that we saw solar prominences, we saw those flares, especially when we're looking at it from our vantage point on the southern tip, it appears, of the sun, and just such an active corona. I remember from 2017, we were at a solar maximum. We weren't seeing the corona come alive like it is. And to see that with our visible eyes, just amazing. At the time of Totality, Kendall and Robert, I was with Carrie Black. She's with the National Science Foundation, and we shared a moment. I'll just say that. Take a listen.
Darkness over Dallas. The lights are out at the Cotton Bowl, and this is what we have. I've got Carrie Black asking for the sun to move away, the cloud to move out of the sky. Look at the planet. The planet's emerged. I think that's Venus. Oh my gosh, there it is. Carrie! Oh my God! Look at that! Oh my gosh, I don't even know you, but this is an amazing experience.
That's
hey,
great.
Steven,
That's the first time I saw that.
Steven,
go ahead,
I gotta
Robert.
ask you, first of all, unbelievable to watch you guys go through that. And I'm curious to know, I mean, I know that you were on pins and needles for days looking at the forecast, hoping, crossing your fingers. When you became overwhelmed with emotion, were you surprised at that, or how did that work for you internally?
Yeah, I was surprised. I mean, to process it, a little personal, but I mean, I'll open up a bit. The forecasting, the years that I spent here in Texas, you get to know the winds, the wind pattern, and a south wind. And when you love weather, like I do, the thought of missing something that's not going to happen again for another 21 years is a bit overwhelming. It's a bit stressful, and the south wind can be the nemesis to clear skies. And I saw the clouds generally moving in that direction. I mean, it wasn't directly out of the south, but I was concerned. But there was a moment just before third contact, or just before Totality, where the clouds were breaking free. And while we didn't see the first diamond ring, because there was a cloud that began eclipsing the sun and the moon during Totality, minutes later, Carrie and I able to experience that moment, and I just have such respect. I mean, it's great for regular people like us to view it, but when you have researchers and scientists and these people who do truly, I can't say it enough, dedicate their life's work to it, and this is something that so many people, they come and go on this earth and they never get to experience it. But for someone like Carrie Black to see it, and just all of us here in Dallas, in this city, and that moment of darkness. I mean, you guys felt it too. The temperatures dropped just a bit. The winds, I mean, we're in the Cotton Bowl, we're in the stadium, so the wind pattern, maybe not have been affected that much, but it was as weird as this, talking about the south wind and how that was not something that really affected the cloud coverage. It was just amazing. It's this blending of the weather and space in the moment, and then of course having loved ones and family here to enjoy it too. And I'm gonna get emotional again. In Southern Illinois, I mean, so close to the path of Totality, but my folks in St. Louis being able to see it. So it's been a great experience. Certainly has.
Awesome. Awesome.
So happy for you, Stephen. We just, again, talked about it so many times the last few weeks leading up to this event, and it's just so exciting, the fact that you got to experience it. It was so moving for you. You mentioned about 10,000 spectators here at IMS. It's interesting, interviewed Doug Bowles, the president of Indianapolis Motor Speedway. He was saying that he was anticipating early numbers, just 10 to 20,000 spectators.
Right.
We blew that number out of the water. He said just after lunchtime, easily north of 50,000 people because of the mass exodus of people in the Southern Plains that said, we got to go north. And a lot of them came right here to Indy.
I tell you what, I think the Fox Weather Christmas party should be held here.
I agree.
I think they're ready to house our crazy crew, right?
Oh, yeah.
Let's go. You hear that, executives? We're going to set this up. No, it was amazing. Doug was shocked at how many people rolled into here. And by the way, 60 different viewing sites around Indianapolis today for people from around the country to see. If you picked Indianapolis, you picked the right spot. Then again, if you left Dallas, maybe you left the wrong spot, right, Stephen? I tell you, I mean, I hope everybody had such a powerful reaction like you had. I envy you with that reaction. I really do. Great stuff. Great stuff.
You know, and it's the collective. It's being with people here who care so much. The NOAA administrator, we talked to him, Dr. Rick Spinrad, just as Totality began in Mazatlan. I mean, the head of NOAA and these great minds who just love it because it's a passion of theirs, not because they were taught to love it, but because they were born loving it. And I know you guys can say the same thing. Certainly, Kendall, because your reaction priceless. We have that. Let's roll the tape.
Trying to take this in. So bright, so beautiful. I'm looking at folks around me, just the cheers. People are also moved. I'm trying to just really take in this moment right now. I'm getting so emotional at this time.
All right, Kendall, so there's your moment. Emotions got the best of you. It was dark. And I mean, the thoughts that were going through your mind, do you know what I'm saying when I say that the corona was just, it was mad. It was so active. It was wild.
It really was. And you and I, although we experienced the exact same thing, it was completely different in terms of our reactions, because for you, weren't sure that you would actually get to see the totality in its fullness as we did. For me, it was my first time. Robert, you were out there with so many other people that had very similar experiences as well. I do also want to bring in now Max Gordon as well as Brandy Campbell, because Max also had a very moving experience as well. Brandy, unfortunately, it wasn't as great, but that's part of the story. That is exactly what we knew was going to happen. There were going to be some locations where it was just going to be amazing, off the charts, like what a lot of us saw. But unfortunately, there's that juxtaposition of some locations, unfortunately, just didn't get so lucky this year.
No, and that's okay, right? I mean, that is actually part of the experience. I mean, at least they experienced some of the temperature drop and the darkness. You know, I think in places like, I think that's a Brandy experience in Rochester. So.
Absolutely.
I tell you one thing, I should have made the bid to be covering this in Mexico. For God's sake, I mean, we could have had margaritas. We could have been watching.
You wouldn't have to have your jacket on. I'm still impressed, Stephen. It's hot. I'm hot.
I should take
and
this off.
Robert still has his Fox Weather jacket on. I don't know how he's doing it.
Are warming up, right? Aren't they doing
warm
so?
Out here.
It is warm. Max and Brandy, they've now joined us. Let's go geographically speaking. So Max, in Cleveland, you and I shared a moment at the Balloon Fiesta in Albuquerque during the Ring of Fire. It pales in comparison, right? I mean, the total solar eclipse, it was something else, especially as we're toward the solar maximum.
Yeah, I mean, you really said it there. This was just a magnificent experience. I did not expect it to be as emotional as it really was. So many people sharing a singular experience together, everyone staring up into the sky. We're still experiencing the eclipse here. You know, it is currently waning. The sun is uncovering the sun, or the moon is uncovering the sun right now, and the light is still a little bit funky. But what was just so amazing about Totality was the 360 sunset that we saw all around us. It was amazing what the light was doing. It was very dark where we were, but then you looked out onto Lake Erie, you looked around to the skyline, and you just saw this 360 sunset, just an incredible experience. And then looking up at the sun, that truly was a ring of fire, this ring of bright white light surrounding the moon. And you know, Stephen told me what I was seeing earlier today. I didn't describe it very eloquently. I said, there's a thing jutting out of the bottom of the sun, a prominence. I saw that prominence because of all the solar activity going on right now. And it was just remarkable to be able to see that with your naked eye. You know, obviously I've never been able to look at the sun with my naked eyes before without risking, you know, blindness. And to be able to do that, surrounded by so many people experiencing this singular event, was really simply amazing. And being able to talk to people in the crowd here, everyone did have sort of the same reaction. It was a surreal moment for so many people and an emotional moment for so many people. You know, the crowd got very quiet at some moments as we waited for Totality, and then cheers began to erupt. You know, it just gave you goosebumps. And you know, it's one of those moments that you just really want to savor forever. So here's a shot actually of me reacting. I don't know what the heck I said, but let's take a listen to that. This crowd is cheering, and there it is, the ring around the sun. You can see it there, the moon blacking out the sun here in Cleveland, Ohio. What an incredible moment this is. Just amazing experiencing this with so many people. I'm joined by Byander. Byander, how does this feel? What are you feeling right now?
This is the most magical thing. I've never looked up at the sky and expected to see something like that. It's a ring. It's a Xbox rendering of death. It's a white circle in the sky where the sun should be. It's nighttime. Those buildings over there are lit up like nothing I've ever seen. It's a sunset there and there. And then on top of that, everything I've looked forward to, seeing in a planetarium as a kid, studying physics in college. This is it demonstrated for the first time in my life in a totally novel way.
Wow, and look at this. You can see flares on the sun all around us. Yeah, it's incredible. You know, there's certain stories that you work on during your career where you are just in the moment. You're not necessarily even reporting. You're just talking about what you're observing and you're experiencing it for yourself. And that's what this felt like. You know, everyone here that's watching, all of you, all of my colleagues, we've all just been along this journey together, and it's been really incredible. You know, talking to all the folks that we've talked to, experiencing what we have, it's going to be something that I never forget for the rest of my life. Guys.
I imagine so. I mean, what an incredible experience for all of us. And Brandy, we're running out of time. Your experience, I mean, you were also a part in Texas for the Ring of Fire eclipse, right? How was it in Rochester?
Yeah, well, it definitely wasn't like that experience where in Corpus Christi, the clouds just cleared out for us. And I think everyone here was just hoping that we would have had that kind of scenario, but instead it was really a roller coaster ride for us of just waiting and waiting and waiting, even the minutes before of like, will we see it? And we didn't. And I've spoken to several people afterwards, and they just said, I'm still glad I came, bummed we could not see that totality and see, the corona of the sun, but we did still experience that darkness, and it was almost like complete darkness, hard to see the people around you, and just the temperatures feeling that drop. It was still an amazing experience, but we know that it could have been even better. So, a lot of people probably wish they would have been in another location that got that chance to get the full experience, but maybe this will just be something to draw people to try one more time. And of course, we know that won't be until 2044 if your only option is to see it in the United States. Maybe it'll make some travelers out of people to head out, into Europe to see some of the upcoming ones that happen sooner, 2026, the next one. But man, it was still just an amazing thing to experience. Nothing like I've ever experienced since it was my first total eclipse. Feels so out of the ordinary to go from daylight to darkness in just moments and watch the temperature drop on my anemometer And I can only imagine what the animals were doing. They were probably way out of whack with how quickly it got dark out of here. But I mean, there were thousands of people here. Many of them have left and probably are in traffic now here in Rochester, but it was still a great experience for everyone to just see that all together. People traveling in here. The city said it could have been 300,000 to 500,000 people. So we did have an experience here. Maybe not what we wanted, but we did get to see some of this show.
Well, Brandy, again, my heart goes out to you. That's what I keep saying, because it's so true. Just how remarkable this event was for myself and for so many others on our team. But again, the overall kind of takeaway is the fact that, Robert, we were just talking about this. You've experienced 5 of these in your lifetime, and just to know how amazing each and every one is, and how no 2 eclipses are the same.
They're not, and the crowds are not the same, and the energy is not the same. And what I found to be so special about where we're at today is you had a great mix of scientists, students, and just your average folk that wanted to come out and see it. And for me to experience the actual totality with those Purdue University students, they sang the national anthem earlier.
It was remarkable,
and they came down, and this was a new thing for them, and to have them have the ability to look into the Fox weather lens and see that up close, and then put the glasses on and have them discuss it with me live on Fox Weather, that was very, very special. Incredible. I'm very glad to have been in that moment with those fine young guys. So awesome job.
Yeah, and as you can see behind us, we do still have quite a bit of a crowd. What I really like is there are some folks, it's hard to see, but there's some people that are laying down on the grass, just still taking it all in, because mind you, it's just before 4 o'clock Eastern time, and as I'm looking up, we are still experiencing our partial eclipse, and so it's the best way to describe it, looks like that thumbnail, that chunk taken out. It's still remarkable, and so I'm glad that we're still seeing the crowds here, Robert. People are still enjoying it, and now I feel like they're actually taking in some of the fun, some of the STEM educational opportunities right behind us, the food, this is a bustling, happening place.
It's awesome. It's incredible. And now we need to go to St. Elmo's Steakhouse in downtown Indianapolis and have some of their famous shrimp cocktail and whatever else they can provide us.
I love it. I look forward to it. All right, Stephen, I mean, again, this has just been such an incredible last few hours for all of us, our entire team. And we're so thankful that, again, our America's total solar eclipse, weather-wise, I have to say, a lot of locations really lucked out. Not everyone, but a lot of spots did. This has been such a once-in-a-lifetime experience for so many of us. We are so glad to have you joining us on Fox Weather.
You have been watching Fox Weather's coverage of a stunning solar eclipse that completely covered the sun for a 100-mile wide path across America. In the skies above 32 million